Hi everyone, good morning and welcome. Here we are on day 8. Perhaps you've been able to join in every day so far, maybe not. Either way is fine, but hopefully you are noticing differences and you're learning as well. So today, once again, we're beginning below the eyes on your cheekbones. This is your stomach meridian. And when you tap here, you're helping to balance the energies of stomach, which is very grounding. It's great for digestion. It's great for your earth rhythm energies. And there are many, many benefits. So we'll tap for just a little bit longer here today. And I invite you to remember your breath, particularly as we begin. You might be feeling a little bit all over the place. Maybe it's been a busy day so far. So seeing as you tap here, do you feel more like you are landing, you're anchoring into the ground? Then the next thumb is about an inch below the middle of your collarbone at the end of your kidney meridian. So this thumb also is balancing for kidney energies and is a great energy boost. So if you find that your energy levels are flagging and you're feeling tired, then this is a really nice one to do for several minutes. But as a rule of thumb, if you do it for several breaths, that's usually enough to make a shift in your energies. And one of the things that will happen is that you will make sure that all of the energy in your meridian energy pathways is moving forwards. So all those pathways like rivers with chi flowing, and that chi might flow backwards sometimes, which is not what you want. So tapping here, making sure everything's going the correct way. Now coming into the middle of your chest for your thymus thumb, you could either use your fingertips or try with a fist. See what it's like if you use both hands rather than one. And which way is your favourite? Whichever that way is, continuing doing it that way. Now our fourth thumb is the spleen thumb. Now again, feeling into it, feeling what feels right for you today. You might want to go with gentler pressure or perhaps firmer. The only way to know is to try it. Try it different ways for a few seconds, see how it feels. Next, we're going to cross over our energies. That's also one of the most fundamental things that you can achieve in your energies for good health, good well-being. So let's do the cross crawl. And that's the alternating march. Do stand up if you'd like. And if you've never done this seated, you could try it now or some other time. Sometimes exercises can feel different when you're sitting down, and it can be a bit of a wow, a bit of a surprise sometimes to think, oh, that was quite lovely. So usually about half a minute of crossing like this will get your energies crossed. It may be that you have a habit of your energies not crossing, which is what we call being homolateral. And a lot of people who are newer to energy balancing have this habit of being homolateral. Certainly, anyone with long term illness, that's almost always the case. So, you would want to do much more to cross over your energies, perhaps some repatterning and bringing in different ways to keep your energies crossing. So, another way that you can cross is with shoulder pulls. So, reaching up and then you drag from the shoulder to the opposite hip. And if you ever find that you have any trouble with coordination, then that's a sign that you may be homolateral. Also feeling tired, feeling low in mood. These are some of the other signs that you might notice. And Donna Eden, who has created this core daily energy routine, says that when a person is homolateral, they are running at about 50% capacity. So that means your ability to think, your ability to learn, to make decisions, your ability to move if you wanted to exercise, your ability to do arts and crafts, to do sewing, your ability to do a project at work, your ability to cook some soup, anything you might be doing, you would be more efficient, more able when your energies are crossing. So perhaps now in this moment you might notice, I feel different than a few minutes ago. So your energies are crossed. Now we're considering whether our energies are scrambled or not. So we go on to the Wayne Cook. So crossing one leg over the other, bringing your arms out, palms out, crossing your hands over and clasping your fingers and coming underneath. And remembering your breath. And as the moments pass here and you breathe, what do you notice? Are there areas of your body that you notice relaxing, perhaps? That's one possibility. Do you notice, perhaps, in your mind, relaxing? This can be a great exercise for those times in life when our thoughts are racing, when it's a bit like you can't see the wood for the trees. And what do you notice emotionally? If you've had any stress that you've been carrying with you, maybe there's been something on your mind and your heart that's been whizzing around today. And perhaps you might notice it just feels like some of that tension is melting away. Let's do the other side, so crossing your legs over. You don't need to cross your arms the other way, but if it feels better to you, you certainly could cross the other way. And again, taking several breaths. And perhaps you may be able to tell a difference as the moments pass. So keeping your attention on yourself, your body and your energies. And now bringing your fingers and thumbs together, resting your thumbs above your nose and taking a breath or two here. And then placing your fingers flat on your forehead and moving over, dragging across, stretching out there. Now shaking your hands off. Let's open up the hands a little bit. So just for a few seconds, giving yourself a little bit of a hand massage. Being mindful that energy can get stuck in the dips here, in the palm, on the fingers, and anywhere that there's any soreness, most likely there's a bit of stuck energy. So just giving yourself a quick massage and pulling the energy off either each finger or perhaps your hand as a whole, and even seeing what's it like if you come up to your shoulder and pull all the way down and off. Noticing the difference in the two sides and doing a little bit on the second side. So when we open up the hands or the feet like this, it's one of the most beneficial ways we can make space. And we do crown pulls to make space, we connect heaven and earth to make space, and there are plenty of other ways too. Things like yoga and Pilates will make space in your energies so that energy can move. But one of the things that I do find with a lot of people I work with is perhaps they're doing great chakra balancing, maybe other energy modalities such as EFT or tapping, and they're getting good results, but don't feel like they're getting as far as they possibly could. And one of the reasons for that can be that the core energies, these basic energies, are not balanced. So the things that we're doing together now, like crossing over and unscrambling, but also opening up your hands, because energy needs space to move. It's one of the principles of energy. And if there's not enough space in your body in certain places for energy to move, then you're less likely to get the best possible results from any energy balancing that you do. So it's worth taking a few seconds to clean your tools, clean your hands and clear them of any stuck excess energy. So you might notice now that your hands feel different, that's possible. And you have less stuck energy here now, which is lovely to go on to a crown pull, because the crown pull is one of the main ways that we will make space in the energies. So here at the top of your head now, you could even visualize moving away any stuck energy. Give it some colour. Just see what pops into your head. There's no right or wrong. It could be brown or blue or purple or grey. And just keeping on all the way around the back of your head. If you do find any spots are more sore and it's feeling good, then maybe staying there, stretching a few more times. You also could see if it helps bringing in a bit more pressure and coming onto the sides of the neck, on each side of the spine. A lot of people get stuck energy at the neck area. So one or more times dragging there and pulling the energy off, shaking your hands off one or more times. And let's zip ourselves up. So bringing your hands to rest over your pubic bone, breathing in and bringing your hands all the way up and over the top of your head. As you breathe out, coming back down. And we're repeating that several times. If you consider yourself to be quite sensitive and empathic, and it feels like you pick up energies at times from different places or people, then you definitely want to make sure that you are zipped up when you're going out and about. So let's go one final time up that central meridian pathway at the front, which ends at your lips. So you'll turn one or both hands to lock in the zip up there. And I'll just show you quickly, and we can do together as a tip, maybe an inspiring tip of what you can do if you're going somewhere and you think, oh, I've not done my zip up today, which has happened to me many times in life. And it's very often if I'm just dashing quickly to the supermarket in the morning and grabbing a couple of things. So if I go and I'm walking into the supermarket, all I'll do, I'll just use one hand, because for me that's a bit more discreet, and if I'm right there walking in, I don't want to start doing all of this movement. So I'll just take one hand and join me now, and all you need to do is just come one time up and turn your hand. And I do it just as quickly and discreetly as that. So hopefully that will inspire you, and you'll remember that when you're going out and about. Keep yourself zipped up. Let's do the hook up now. So bringing a middle finger into your belly button, the other middle finger at your third eye, pushing in and pulling up. Yesterday I mentioned the pressure here briefly. So when you're doing your energy exercises, a lot of the style of how you do them is up to you. So the core technique, like we're doing now, with the fingers in these locations, that's often pretty precise. However, the way that you do it, the speed, the pressure, the length of time, that's all up to you. And it's all about what feels right to you. So perhaps as you hold here just for the next few seconds, you might see, what's it like if I increase the pressure and really pull? You don't have to lift your elbows up so much. I'm doing that more just visually on the camera to show you, rather than just a little bit. Put more into it. And noticing, how is your hook up here feeling today? And now relaxing your arms, giving them a little bit of a shake. And we are going to connect heaven and earth. So we begin in this prayerful position. And then when you breathe in, getting a stretch. So one arm's palm up, the other is palm down, holding your breath. And when you're ready, breathing out and coming back to the prayerful position. And doing the same thing on the other side. Where can you feel the stretch in your body? And the areas where you can feel that are the areas where you are really making space, the places where perhaps there's been a lack of space and you're bringing in that new space. So again, doing a second time on each side. Let's go for a third time on each side today. So taking the opportunity with a stretch for a third time on each side to notice, how does it feel? Does it feel any different to you? And once you've done 3 stretches, as you breathe out, folding forwards like a rag doll, letting everything go. Keeping your feet planted on the floor and allowing your arms to hang, your neck and head to hang. Taking a few deep breaths, and as you breathe out, you may notice that you lower slightly towards the floor. And now beginning to move from side to side and make some figure eights with your arms, swinging them in the air and coming back up to either standing or seated. Just continuing, adding in some extra figure eights. Noticing, how are you feeling after doing an extended version of connecting heaven and earth? Can you tell the difference in certain areas of your body? And now we're going to do the Celtic Weave, so keeping your aura balanced. And we begin rubbing the hands together, shaking them off. Now rubbing your hands together again, opening them, and bringing that fresh energy to your head. How do you feel as you hold your hands here? Can you tell anything? You may or may not be able to. We're all different in what we feel. But sometimes this is a very lovely sensation for people. The next time you breathe in, bring your elbows together and cross your arms. Then when you breathe out, come out to the side. And let's go down the body weaving. So in front of your waist. Now in front of your knees. And then your ankles. And then coming back up, making circles and rolling and fluffing your beautiful aura around you. This 360 degrees, 7 layered, protective spacesuit that also acts like an antennae. And maybe nobody on the planet has ever put all those things together to describe the aura in that particular way. All right, so slowing your rolling of the aura down, noticing once again how you're feeling. And we are going to trace the radiant circuit. So, belt flow to begin, reaching to the back, and then smoothing round and across, opening up this area. And then picking up the energy at the opposite waist and smoothing all the way down the side of your leg and off your foot. Then we do the same thing on the other side. And then just tuning into this waist area and down the sides of your legs, just noticing if you can feel anything. Sometimes people will describe feeling lighter, feeling as though there's more space here, feeling as though the top and the bottom half of the body is more connected. And in fact, I remember in my training when we were studying the chakra system, and I had a big learning, which I'll share with you quickly now, because there was a person I was practicing with, and the energy of their chakras was not connected. So you're probably aware and have heard of the chakra system. You don't need to know much about it, but you may know there are 7 major chakras, and sometimes they are actually not energetically connected. And that can often happen between the lower chakras and the upper chakras. So opening up the belt flow like we just did can be a crucial piece sometimes. So bear that in mind if you want to work with your own chakra energy. Bringing in things like the belt flow sometimes can be so incredibly complementary. Now we're going to trace penetrating flow, which begins behind your belly button. So resting your hands in the small of your back, taking a breath in. When you breathe out, dropping down several inches, then breathing in and coming up and over your hips. And on the out breath, lowering to your pubic bone. Next time you breathe in, coming up your midline, and when you reach your mouth, breathing out and making some figure eights here. Again, noticing how you're feeling, and we'll trace the bridge flows. So yin bridge beginning in the power point at the top of your neck at the back, and moving your hands over the top of your head until you reach your forehead, holding here for a breath. You could stay here for longer, but we won't, just because of keeping arms up in the air, and I don't want your arms to get tired. So if you're at home, perhaps you might sit back and use cushions? That's a cross between cushions and pillows. Let's continue going through the nose, tapping on your cheekbones. There's a new one, cushions. Now below the collarbone. And now 3 hearts over your chest. Now, if my little snafu there, mixing up those words, made you smile, then that is good for your radiant circuits. So let's smooth down, all the way down your legs and off your feet. And then making horizontal 8s for Yang bridge. And you might want to smile right now, a fake smile. So perhaps what happened a minute ago made you giggle and smile a bit, which is excellent because it's good for your radiant circuit. But you also can say purposefully smile. And sometimes that can feel a bit tricky or inauthentic, if we're not having a good day. But Even that fake it till you make it approach and smiling if it feels a bit forced, perhaps, that's okay. But that action while you're working with your energies, tracing radiant circuits, can be really helpful to help you to overcome the way that you're feeling. And another thing you can do, which I used to do all the time when I really suffered a lot with depression and anxiety, is do something that's going to purposefully propel you into a bit of laughter. And what I used to do was go on YouTube and look up my favourite comedians, so just people making jokes. And I wouldn't laugh hysterically because I was in a low place, but it would just crack the door open a little bit for me. And it gets your radiant circuits going when you hear a joke. So let's turn round now so we can receive those 8s at the back, the Yang bridge. Taking a few deep breaths, allowing your energies to harmonise. Let's connect the bridge between the front and the back of the body. So making some figure 8s. And going down the body a little bit. If you like, you can go all the way down to the feet. Sometimes that can be really nice. It depends on you and your energies and what you need. And then finally, we're going to trace Yin and Yang Regulator. So Yin Regulator begins with a heart over your face, then coming down over your neck, onto the opposite shoulders and smoothing down to your elbows, and then smoothing down the front of your body. All the way off your feet, returning back up. And tracing Yang Bridge. So Yang Bridge is where you smooth round your ears, and then you come onto the opposite shoulders again, smoothing down again to your elbows. And then reaching at the back and smoothing all the way down the backs of your legs, and again coming off your feet. And now the vagus nerve is a hot topic for a lot of people. It's a huge nerve that weaves into your major organs and has lots of different roles and responsibilities. So calming your energies by resting a hand on your lower belly with a thumb inside your belly button, bringing your other hand to rest anywhere on your neck that would be comfortable for you. So any place at all. And just holding here for a minute or two, allowing your energies to balance. And then listening or watching and listening to this light language. Gasha su kanda ti 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 sa 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 ayakana sa 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 si akana sa uchaya kyote shionya tia kyole kyoko kyanya si koko aika kose kose katala chia 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 siata uka salasa shi kota. Taking several deep breaths. And if your eyes are closed, allowing them to open. Let's take a few moments. Pick a card. Okay. So, does anyone love owls? Really rather majestic, empowered creatures. Perhaps you see yourself in the owl and noticing this glorious owl here. Notice the light and the message. Make of it what you will, whatever it means to you today. Be the hunter, not the hunted. Be the hunter, not the hunted. So thank you so much once again for joining me, and hooray, well done to those of you who have been here every single day. And please don't criticize yourself if you've not managed it, because we're all human, all leading busy lives. So the recordings are there if you'd like to catch up, but you will benefit, and you can certainly benefit by joining in whenever you can make it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Take good care, and I will look forward to seeing you next time.